Love should never be one-sided. It should be about giving and taking. That is, there should be a reciprocation of feelings in a relationship, otherwise it could lead to a frustrating experience for the one at the giving end. It is a beautiful thing to love and be loved in return, something many people look forward to. What joy the heart experiences in knowing that you are not alone in feeling the jitters of love. However, it does not always work this way, and we find cases where people hold on to relationships where they give in their all and are not getting the same in return. When someone says they love you, you do not believe them just because of their words. Rather, it must be backed up with some evidence, and the signs are out there for all to see. There are some signs to show that your partner does not love you. They do not invest in the relationship. A relationship requires time, effort, commitment, communication, and a whole of other resources to make it work. If you are the only one putting in the effort and investing your resources into the relationship, then your partner does not love you or is only interested in the things he can gain from that relationship. You can try all you want in hopes that they will change someday and love you just as much as you love them, but it does not always work that way. Relationships should be mutual for the sake of balance. If it is one-sided, it will eventually tilt and end up crashing. They always make excuses. The priority a person gives you tells you the space you occupy in their heart or how much you mean to them. A person can be busy most of the time, but when it comes to the people they love, they will always make out time for them. If he or she is always giving one excuse or the other, does not remember your date appointments or important things such as the special presentation you were supposed to make, it is a sure sign that you are on the boat alone. Sure, people can forget birthdays, be caught up at work, and miss a dinner. There is always room for flexibility. However, if the excuses become too much, then they obviously do not want to spend time with you or do not see you as being important enough to make a priority in their lives. Lack of interest and commitment. Where your treasure is, there also your heart will be. Are you always setting the dates, picking the venue, and doing the work of making sure they attend? Are you always doing the texting and calling, checking up on them, and going to the extent of reminding them to call? Do you feel alone in your struggles sometimes because your partner is unavailable for you to share things with? Or how do they behave in your presence? Do they listen to whatever you have to say? Or do they act like they cannot wait to get away? All these are questions that help you determine if your partner is committed to that relationship as much as you are. This kind of people can carry their bag and baggage in one day and walk out of your life without so much as a backward glance, which is eventually what happens in such relationships. They never loved you in the first place, and so their heart cannot be in that relationship. Constant comparison. If your partner is constantly comparing you to other people, it is a sign that they have other interests and are not so into you. Someone who loves you must be able to accept you for who you are and love you despite your weaknesses and faults. It is okay to desire changes in certain areas of weaknesses, but they will also be there to help you become better rather than compare you to others whom they feel you should be like. Violence. This is the hallmark of toxicity in a relationship. Any form of violence should not be tolerated, no matter what the person professes. Even if they claim that they did it unintentionally or do not know what came over them, your senses should tell you to get out of that relationship. You do not hurt someone you love, whether physically or emotionally. If they speak words to bring you down and words that make you feel less of yourself or try to raise their hands against you, then it means you are not cherished enough for them to exercise self-control. If you observe one or more of the above signs, you should know that person does not love you, and nobody should stay or endure a relationship where they are not loved. Nobody should have to go through that experience. We all deserve to be loved and accepted for who we are. Anything short of this would only lead to heartbreak in the end. You may find yourself falling in love with someone and you are scared of them. However, outright rejection is better than consent without interest. You might be hurt for a while, but you will surely get over it and bounce back. There is nothing wrong with loving someone, but you cannot force a person to love you in return. There should be mutual shared feelings, otherwise you will end up being drained and feel used in that relationship because you will be the one putting in all the work and giving your all to make the relationship work. Despite all of these, we still find some people holding on to these kinds of relationships. It might be difficult to understand, but here are a few reasons for this kind of behavior. Low self-esteem. Some people have a low esteem about themselves and do not realize how much they are worth or even think they are deserved to be loved. This feeling might be a result of their background, upbringing and experiences. Because they do not know their worth, they settle for less, and even when they are not being loved in return, stay in the relationship because they do not think there is something better for them out there. Unhealthy attachment. People become attached for different reasons in a romantic relationship. Some level of attachment is required. However, it becomes unhealthy when you cannot do without that person or think your life is over if they are not in your life. There should be a limit to the level of your attachment with a person. Do not ever come to the point where you think someone is indispensable. You can value them and give them a place in your heart, but one should not become so bound that they cease to function optimally in the absence of that person. Unhealthy attachment, for whatever reason, might be the reason you are still holding on to someone who does not love you. Hope that they will change or become better. It is not wrong to hope that someone will change someday. After all, love never gives up. However, relationships should not be managed, especially when the person in question shows no interest to becoming better. Whatever you tolerate. Courtship is what you will get eventually when you get marriage. And what kind of marriage would that turn out to be? A broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. So, while we sometimes hope that things get better or that a person changes, we should come to grips with the reality that that person might not be meant for us or the relationship was never meant to be. If you are experiencing or have experienced any of the above, there is no need to be sorry or continue in that state. God has great plans for you, and He has prepared someone wonderful for you. The reason you are in this situation is that you allowed your emotions to rule over you instead of letting God direct you. It is not too late to retrace your steps, but it is up to you. Do you want to continue with someone who does not love you, or are you ready to embrace true love? You need to let go of that person to give way for someone new to come into your life. Know your identity and do not settle for less. You were made for much more, and anyone that does not recognize your worth should not have a place in your life. First, you need to know your identity. You are the apple of God's eye. One He created after His likeness and image, an heir to the throne with treasures invested inside you. You are golden and should not settle for brass or wood. If someone does not love you, let them go. You cannot force love. It should flow naturally. If it does not, it might take a lot of work and pressure to make that relationship work. If you want someone better in your life, you have to let go of that one who does not value you enough to love you the way you deserve. Who knows? That person might have been looking for a chance to talk and engage you, but they cannot because you are with someone else already. It might be hard to let go at first, but knowing that there is something better waiting for you should make the decision easy. Release yourself from the shackles of a bitter relationship and experience the joy, happiness, and fulfillment of experiencing true love. Your true love is out there waiting for you. What are you waiting for?